Just a little bit about RockU in general. We are, for the most part, we have a great deal in social media. So we have an ad network, we do a lot of branded sales, working on a monetization platform, which if you come talk to our table later on, we'd be very happy to fill you all in on what's going on. And then as well, we also have an applications division where we also do applications on Facebook as well as some of the other social platforms. So, just in general, I'm just going to say it, I am a gamer. Right? Always been a gamer. I love games. It's got me into trouble many, many, many times. But it has led me from what has been told to everyone now that I was originally a biologist, and now I am in social gaming. So it goes. But in general, I am here basically to try to encourage everyone here, just like Nick is, to make better games and for you guys to actually make money and be very happy on the social platforms. Because, quite frankly, without the developers, none of the social platforms can exist, right? You guys are super important to the stability and the health of any of these platforms, right? So if you guys are on Facebook, you guys are happy, you guys are making money, everyone is happy, right? So I want to make sure I encourage that behavior too. So, with no further ado, let me move on. Okay, so just a little breakdown of what I'm going to be talking about today. This little teaser, so my outline. So I'm just going to give a brief monetization overview. This is just, in general, just a brief overview of monetization, kind of the industry. And then second, I'm going to go into, key of monetization, economic control. Notice the question mark. I will talk about that later. 3, I'll go into future monetization opportunities as we can see it, because we've been dabbling in the space quite a bit. And 4, I'm just going to wrap it up with some conclusions on generally monetization as a whole. Okay, great. Chapter 1, monetization overview. You can't read that quote out there. It's a nice little thing from Charles Dickens. It's a far, far better thing that I do than I have ever done. That's because the social gaming market is so cool to me. I love it. I hope all of you are, because I would imagine you would be in here if you didn't. Maybe you're just trying to make money. Either way, it's fine. Moving on. So, that is cut off. Okay, yeah, I see. Okay, so it says at the top, why social is amazing, restating the obvious. These are things that most of you guys know, but I'm going to just highlight some of the really key features. And these are going to be really important because they're going to play themes as we move along. And you'll see them being reiterated as I'm talking and why these things are super important. And these are really the highlights of why the social networks are such a great place to develop on, as I'm sure most of you know. Anyway, so the first point I'm going to talk about is, so that's just the overall. I'm clicking the first one. Yeah, great. Okay, so the evolution of the social applications gaming, as was stated before, it's occurring really fast, right? So that means that developers that are quick, agile, with a lot of creativity, with a lot of, with their focus on user experience and the ability to generate something awesome, the potential is really huge, and I'm sure all of you know that. And then going to the next one, the animation is faster later on, I promise. I was trying to fix that, but I couldn't do it. We've never had such access to such a wide range of tools and information in order to modify and target our applications, right? We're getting a lot of information on these social platforms that let us, as developers, basically figure out and tweak our applications to a severe degree that we can actually get the most potential out of what we're doing. We get a lot of feedback. Facebook, for example, has a lot of feedback that they give back to the developers in terms of trending and information and geo and gender and breakdowns and so on like that. Even more so if you have a fan page. I briefly mentioned that later on too. But it's fantastic. I love it so much. And then next, please. Yeah, so the international reach of many of the social networks has been severely underutilized. That's a point that's really huge, is that, on Facebook, they have severe international penetration, which means that if you can really tap into that and really see where your users are coming from, you can then monetize really heavily. You're monetizing globally, right, which is fantastic. So across languages, across countries, everywhere. It's really, really a great opportunity. And then the last one. This is my favorite point, actually. So right now, on the social networks, we have perhaps the largest opportunity to convert non-gamers into social gamers, right? This is huge, and it is great. I love it so much. Sorry if I keep repeating that. And the example that I'm going to talk about is actually Nintendo. Excuse me, Microsoft people. I love the Xbox too, but okay, Nintendo. What they've done is amazing to me because in the console wars, basically you had Nintendo, which opened up an entirely new segment of the market, right? They created what I like to call family-centric social gaming, right? And by doing so, they didn't directly compete with Microsoft or Sony in a large majority of the arena. They actually created new people that they could monetize off of, and they monetize really well, right? I myself have a Wii. I have, the 4 controllers, the nunchuck, the Wii Fit. What else have we got there? The new Wii additional thing with the gyroscope in there. So, they got me pretty good. So Nintendo has done a fantastic job at what they did. They opened up the market, right? And they were able to monetize users that hadn't been monetized before. The same thing is going on the social networks, which is fantastic, right? And for us, it's interesting because, we talk about virtual currency, you talk about stay-at-home mothers who are getting addicted to Farmville and playing it nonstop. You see people at work who, when their bosses come around, start alt-tabbing, right? So they can close their farm behind work. So this is fantastic. And besides just virtual currency, there's other opportunities for this as well. And I will also talk about that because that's a really, 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 it's, for me, one of the futures of monetization as a whole. Okay, so the path of enlightenment, it says at the top, actually, the path of enlightenment or cha-ching, but that's kind of cut off up there. Anyway, so where is the money and how do I get it? So this is really, basic overview. It's the primary revenue sources for developers, right? So we have these monetization companies, we're working on it, OfferPal, some of the other guys are out there. But the primary revenue sources for developers, right? Number one is obvious, right? It's going to be the users. Pull out their wallets, they pull out their credit cards, direct payments, as they're called. And then 2 is basically, as I like to break it down, the user-initiated actions. Right? So this is stuff on, say, the offer walls where you're installing an application or if you're signing up for Netflix. Or these are more engagement-based methods of monetization off of the users. Number 3 is user participation. And this goes a long way into actually advertising. And I hope no one's cringing when I say advertising because it's actually incredibly powerful. And there's a lot of money over there. You could probably see where I'm going to go with this later on. So anyways, a lot of that is display-based. So example, if you're watching a video, right? If you're seeing an ad, right? These are various things that users can do, but don't actually require them to physically do something. It just shows up, it's in the flow, and it's a great way for people to monetize. Okay, so on the top says viable monetization strategies. So up here, I have the user-based monetization percentage, right? And if you click one more time, this arrow is going to come up slowly, yeah. You click one more time, it's going to come up with a 0 to 100%. So as we all know, the percentage of people that you monetize on your applications from direct payment, which I have all the way over on that end that says 0%. If you are fantastic with your application, you're going to be monetizing like 2 to 5% of your application with direct payments, right? These are the people who are going to pop open their credit cards and actually type in stuff. That is, again, a small portion of your population, but generates a lot of money, right? On the other side of this, I have display ads, right? Some people have those on there, and a lot of the applications on Facebook have made a lot of money off of just doing display ads. But they hit essentially 100% of your users, right? They monetize every person who comes to your application. Now, the question is with all the other monetization solutions, they're going to fall on the scale somewhere, and as you can see, there's probably going to be a mix of these as they come through. So, if you don't mind clicking a couple times, so we have stuff like the offer walls, where you can monetize up to maybe, I think, 20, 25% of your population in conjunction with direct payments. You have things like local deals, which is coming online now. I believe Peanut Labs was one of the people who brought on local, which is really cool and exciting. You have things like surveys, right? These are clean experiences, again, that then monetize more people. And direct response. So basically, if you go shopping and you buy something, you get X number of virtual currency points for buying that.